They haven't walked in this room, because there's nothing now about this deal here. We couldn't get any more on go than the people we have in this room. We're looking at a company that's gone from basically 0 to 35,000 plus people that believe in the same dream that we have. You know, who's the believer in the dream? But anyway, you know, about 30 years ago or so, I was, you know, I'm the guy that you really wanted to have, you know, date your daughter. I was a high school dropout and I wanted to be a rock star. And had all the issues that went along with that, you know what I mean? Everybody's from the 80s, you know what I'm talking about. If you can remember the 70s and the 80s, you probably weren't there. But anyway, you know, I've always had some drive. I got a record deal with Christmas Records and CBS and did tours and all that other stuff. But one day that stuff came to an end. And, you know, I had to really look at myself, and I ended up in the car business of all places. And, you know, I went from standing on a stage in front of 1,000 people and major tours and stuff to, hello, can I help you? And show you a Ford Aero stuff. And it was pretty depressing. I didn't have an education, I had nothing else to fall back on. And one day, a guy came into that car dealership. Now keep in mind, I saw people making $100,000 plus a year back in, you know, 1989 and stuff, which was gobs of money back then. That's Rolex Porsche. And the guy came in the car dealership and he was selling a program for a young guy who was probably 28, 29 years old, maybe 30. And you know, you gotta go see this motivational speaker. And even that was like 150 bucks, which back then was a lot of money. And you gotta go see this guy, Tony Robbins, who everybody just met his son. And did a great job too, I might add. And so I was the only one out of the whole place that went as usual. And I went there and I've never seen anybody control a room like that in my life. I got the tapes and I really made, that's all I did was listen to those tapes over and over and over and over and over again. And I just told all of a sudden a quantum shift happened inside of me. And the jobs that I thought I couldn't get in that industry, suddenly I believed that I could. If nothing else, Terry believed that he could have that job as a finance manager at a car dealer making $100 grand. And I believed that I started snooping around and learning about spreads. I mean, spreads, I didn't know what, you know, finance spreads and this and that and the other thing were. And I kind of BS'd my way into it. A guy fired a finance manager said I could do the job. And I believed that I could do it. And I went in there and the next thing you know, because of that technology and the things I learned, I believed bad enough where 6 months later I was that finance manager making that money. Only for one reason is I believed in my heart and my soul I could get it done. I had never worked a computer, I had never done any of those things. I made it up as I went along. I made all the mistakes. I delivered like 27 cars in one day. Set every record the store had, and profit and all this other stuff, and the next thing goes out my way. And I spent 14 years in that business. Until I got to the point where I couldn't stand it anymore. And I was trying to get out, and I found out that I would go to try and go get a job someplace. But my attitude got so bad, and I forgot the lessons I learned, that I would fire myself before anybody else would fire me. Anybody been in that position before? You walk in the door, you're like, oh, they can't run a business like this. Are they crazy? This is wrong, this is wrong. This is, the police force has been here for 50 years. And it's still there today, but of course, we don't wait till this changes, we're done. And so I was firing myself before I could even get anywhere going. And I moved out to Arizona and I hit an all-time rock bottom in my life. It was, you know, the issues that I had in the 80s, something weird that we had, and, you know, I had to make some personal changes in my life. And it wasn't easy, but I committed myself to doing it. All of a sudden, one day, I dug into those tapes I listened to over and over and over again by Robbins. And I can take you to the point, in fact, a week ago, me and this gal Lacey over here, I took her to that first time I've ever taken anybody to the spot where I stood, where I said to myself, what is it going to take right now, today, this second, not tomorrow, the next day, now, to turn this all around? And my mom had to come pick me up. This is how bad it was. I was 44 years old, living in a single white shredder with my mom in a cedar car, where they didn't want me watching old men make wooden squirrels. I mean, if there's anybody who needed to change, it was me. I had to quit blaming other people. I had to take responsibility for myself, and I knew it. And it was bad. You know, don't drive through one of these things. You want to change your life? Pain changes. One thing I learned out of that thing too is pain changes you. Feel enough pain, and you don't need anybody to tell you what to do. You'll figure it out. But you need to have enough pain in your life to do it. And my mom came and picked me up, and I borrowed 35 cents and got a newspaper, and I found this little a network marketing company, and I won't mention her name, but at any rate, I got cross-recruited into another one. And all I did was I dug back into that material that I had drilled into my head over and over and over again, and I believed, I took massive action, and I never, ever, ever gave up. I didn't have a car, I had no money, there was no hidden 401k, there was no any hidden anything. My car had been repoed, I couldn't even go to a car to get change out of the bottom of it, because that was gone too. But I believed in this company too. And when I saw the comp plan, I saw everything, I went, you know what? I know I'm going to be at the top of this company. I know it. I was there and I believed it before I even got there. I already saw it happen, which is some of the things that I learned by going through those things. That you believe, you take massive action, and you never quit. And have enough pain, and it'll get you there. You see, a lot of people have dream boards and stuff. Anybody ever make one of these dream boards? Let's get some hands. You know what I'm talking about. When you sit here under your refrigerator, you take the picture of that beautiful house you want to live in with a nice car, and all of that stuff right there, and you look at that, oh man, I want to have all those things in my life. I took a picture of where I was and put it on my refrigerator. And when I looked at that, and I had a picture of the empty carport where my car once was. Because when I looked at that, it made me pick up the phone again. Nobody had to tell me, make another call, Terry. I even had on my refrigerator said, make one more call. So when I couldn't take it, when I couldn't make even one more call, I had to make one more call. That was my thing. And I don't really have any data or anything else successful that wasn't. I don't really even think it was that successful making that last call. But I made enough calls where 8, 9 months later, I was the top guy in that company. And things just started to roll from there and roll from there. And you know, here we are today. You know, I have kind of a similar story to everybody else here. You know, a few months back, I got invited out here, took a look at the concept, loved it. Thought, hey, you know, we could probably put, me personally, 300, 400 people in this, and we get a little team together, and all of a sudden there's 12,000 people walking around and going, what happened? And here we've got our challenges too. And, you know, challenges are just that, they're challenges. How do you think Bill Gates felt the day after they announced the Vista? You know? But you know what, if you go over there, Microsoft's still there. Nobody went home, they didn't roll up the carpets and go, that's it, we're throwing in a towel, I'm done, I'm over with. But here's the thing. You gotta dig inside of yourself and find the thing that turns you on, the power of why. Why do you want to do that? Most of us, if not all of us, you're either in the position or know somebody's in the position that is having a hard time financially. I'm sure that's why part of the reason that this company is going like it is right now. I mean, look, take a look around you. The sharpest people in the planet are in this company and being attracted. We are a company of attraction almost rather than promotion. I don't have to sit there and talk people into coming into this. You see this concept and you're here. But what gets everybody here is usually pain of something in their life. You didn't come here because you're worth $100 million and you want to just be part of local athlete. You're here because you need to change your life financially or whatever your reason is. That's why you're here too. That's why I am here. Unfortunately, that's also the reason that some people will use to not be here a year from today. Because people will do more to avoid pain than they ever really gain pleasure. You see it every day in your life. You know, you're in a 4-lane highway and you've got your 2 lanes. There's 3 cars in this one and 1 car in that one. Why did you pick to get behind the 1 car? Because you associated pain with being in the one with more cars in it, or at the grocery store, the same thing. What really screws you up is when you pick that last one, all of a sudden there's a reason that car was stalled out. Now all of a sudden it's more painful to be there. Now you're trying to figure a way out of that mess. So we really do things in our life to avoid pain and gain pleasure. But when I say that pain can also remove you from it, first obstacles, things like this. You may go home, make a couple of phone calls. People don't agree, they don't see it. And all of a sudden you go, here's your excuse. Now you're going to associate more pain with being here than the pain you got that got you here. And one thing, like I did on my refrigerator at home, is I always kept a reminder in front of me of what got me here in the first place. What drove me to pick up the phone and make the next call, to make everything happen. Then it's about being prepared. That's what we're doing here today with the breakout sessions. You know, Michael Jordan just didn't sit there and be able to close his eyes in a playoff game of basketball and go like this during a playoff game with his eyes closed and have it go in. He was just more prepared than everyone else. And so that's what we're here to do today, is get everybody prepared to go out and do battle and go out and make your company the best you can ever be in your life. And these are the guys who are going to do it for you. Is everybody ready to take this to the next level of their life? I'm happy you're here. Let's go tear it up. We're here to help you. Learn everything you can in the breakouts. It's great information. And let's go home and tear it up and put yourself here a year from today. Everybody have a good one. Thanks a lot.
MDDD, recruiting, I'll go ask them.
Okay, you ready for breakouts? Ready?